Colored TV, race riots, and a president takes to the skies, all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is October 11th, 2021. It is the 284th day of the year. We got 81 days left. It is the 41st Monday in the 42nd week, and it's the 20th day of fall, 71 days until winter. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is an opal. There are 126 days left until the Super Bowl. Today is National Coming Out Day. Each year on October 11th, National Coming Out Day encourages civil awareness, recognizing and supporting those in the LGBTQ communities. I do apologize, I know there's some extra letters they've added on there, but I can't keep up. The day is dedicated to raise awareness of the civil rights of the LGBT community through education, support, and sharing their stories. The hope of this day is that the LGBTQ community can live openly, safely, and freely wherever they live. All right, let's see what else October 11th has given us. 1910, the first U.S. president flies in an airplane. The first U.S. president to ever fly in an airplane was our 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt. He took off from Kinloch Field in St. Louis, Missouri. The pilot was Arch Hoxsey, and he worked with the Wright brothers. 1950, color TV becomes a thing. CBS Field Sequential Color System for television is the first to be licensed for broadcast by the FCC. So the system they used was called Field Sequential Color System, or FSC, and it was amazing for the time. FSC was first developed by Dr. Peter Goldmark for CBS, which was its sole user of commercial broadcasting. It was first demonstrated to the press on September 4th, 1940, and first shown to the general public on January 12th, 1950. 10 months later, it went live. 1958, NASA launches its first space probe. Pioneer 1, it was also known as Able 2 for a while, was an American space probe. It was launched by a Thor-Able rocket on 11 October 1958. It was intended to orbit the moon and make scientific measurements and take some pictures, things like that, but due to a guidance error, it failed to achieve lunar orbit and was ultimately destroyed when it came back to Earth. The atmosphere just tore it apart. The flight lasted 43 hours. 1972, a race riot occurs on a U.S. aircraft carrier. The USS Kitty Hawk riot was a racial conflict between white and black sailors aboard the United States Navy aircraft carrier while it was positioned at Yankee Station off the coast of North Vietnam during the Vietnam War. This was not a good look for the Navy or the United States at all. As soon as this hit the press, every country that didn't like us just blew it up. It was bad, don't get me wrong. They just made it look 10 times worse. That's how propaganda works, I guess. 1976, George Washington gets another promotion. That's right, about 175 years after his death, he gets promoted to General of the Armies. This is the most senior rank in the U.S. military. Prior to that, the only one that achieved this level was John J. Pershing. When George Washington was alive, his highest rank was Lieutenant General. Now, it was weird back then. They didn't have as many ranks. These days we have Brigadier General, that's your first general. Then you have Major General, Lieutenant General, which is what George Washington was. Later on, they just added General, which is a 4-star general. During war times like World War II and stuff, they had 5-star generals also, and that's called General of the Army, as in singular, just Army. And then General of the Armies is what Pershing and George Washington were, and I guess that's considered a 6-star general. 1991, Anita Hill goes live with Congress. On October 11th, 1991, Professor Anita Hill delivers her televised testimony concerning sexual harassment during the Clarence Thomas Supreme Court nomination hearings. She's an American lawyer, legal scholar, educator, and author. She became a national figure in this 1991 situation when she accused U.S. Supreme Court nominee at the time, Clarence Thomas, her supervisor at the United States Department of Education and Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, of sexual harassment. Anita Faye Hill was born on July 30th, 1956 in Lone Tree, Oklahoma. She attended Oklahoma State University, where she received a bachelor's degree in psychology with honors in 1977. She went on to Yale Law School and obtained her Juris Doctorate degree with honors in 1980. She'd always wanted to work in some kind of civil rights role or something like that. She was admitted to the District of Columbia Bar in 1980, and she began her law career as an associate in a Washington, D.C. firm. In 1981, she became an advisor for Clarence Thomas. She left that job in 1983 to become a professor, first with Oral Roberts University, and then on to the University of Oklahoma, College of Law, and eventually Brandeis University. But she had just a normal career, and she was, I'm sure known in certain circles, but she hadn't hit the national stage yet. Then Clarence Thomas, her old supervisor in 1991, gets nominated for a Supreme Court justice spot by President George H.W. Bush. Now, whenever this happens, whenever someone's being nominated, the FBI goes out and investigates that, and they talk to everyone they can find that knew him. And she knew him. She worked with him, and she had a conversation with the FBI, and she told them some things. Nothing really went anywhere with it until that conversation, that interview with the FBI, got leaked to the press, where she said he sexually harassed her while he was her supervisor. Her testimony was graphic and claimed he said all kinds of weird stuff to her, and they actually had a field day with this on Saturday Night Live. I mean, Chris Rock was on there. It was great. Prior to the leak, Clarence Thomas was pretty much a shoo-in. It was almost decided, and then this came out and it turned into this big, huge thing that was just all over every single television screen, newspaper, everything. It just took over the United States. Eventually, Clarence Thomas was confirmed as a Supreme Court justice by the narrowest of margins, 52-48. Premiered on October 11th, 2006, 30 Rock. This is one of my favorite all-time sitcoms. It starred Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan, Jack McBrayer. It even had guest appearance by people like Matt Damon and John Hamm. The series ran for 7 seasons and aired a total of 138 episodes. I watch it all the time still. I've probably seen the entire series through at least 3 times now. Great series. What's weird is I never watched an episode while it was airing. I watched it when it was on Netflix and kind of had that feeling like, why didn't I know this was so good? Born on October 11th, 1977, Rhett Mclaughlin. He is one half of the Good Mythical Morning YouTube channel. He met his comedy partner, I guess you could call him, Link Neal, in first grade, and they continued through school together all the way up to North Carolina State University, where they got engineering degrees and eventually got engineering jobs. One day they finally realized they were making more money doing YouTube than they were in their engineering jobs, so they quit and went full-time. There's a website called Celebrity Net Worth, and I just glanced at it real quick, and apparently it was a good move quitting their engineering jobs because in 2020, they made a combined $20 million for Good Mythical Morning. Now, they have a staff and everything like that, but I can't imagine their staff costing them more than $2 million a year. So that means these two probably split somewhere in the neighborhood of $18 million. Died on October 11th, 1961, we lost Chico Marx, American comedian, musician, and actor. He's the oldest of the Marx brothers, with Groucho, Harpo, and Zeppo Marx. His persona in the act was that of a charming, uneducated, but crafty con artist. He died at the age of 74 in his Hollywood home in California due to coronary artery disease. Ate a lot of bacon over the years, I guess. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Now get out there, do something productive, and be nice to each other.